Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into the cosmic weather report today. We've got insights from that astrological analysis, Pleine Lune en Taureau, Libération et Sécurité.
That's the one, liberation and security. And we're also pulling from the TarotScope from Tarot by High C for November 5th, 2025.
Exactly. And our goal here, our mission, is really to, quickly pull out the main lessons.
Yeah, the core lessons from this, well, it's a pretty complex forecast. We're focusing specifically on that tricky spot between security, our need for it, and, well, change, the discomfort of it.
And how that connects to our stuff, right?
Yeah.
Our material attachments, that whole side of things.
Exactly, that messy relationship we all seem to have. So the stage is really set by this central tension of the full moon in Taurus. It's this dynamic balance needed between comfort.
Which is very Taurus.
Very Taurus. And the need for, well, brave change. The focus lands right on where stability might actually be, confused with stagnation.
Stability confused with stagnation. And the sources suggest it's relevant right now, that even seemingly small choices.
Yes, small choices can set off major ripples. That's a direct quote.
Right. So it's urging you, the listener, to really look closely at your relationship with security, with pleasure, with the material world itself.
The very things that both sustain us.
Yeah.
And potentially constrain us.
Okay, let's dig into that material world aspect first. You mentioned Taurus energy.
Yeah.
Can you define that a bit more for this full moon context?
Sure. So a full moon in Taurus really forces an examination of security in all its forms. We're talking financial, emotional, even physical safety. It pushes us to look at our values, what we own, what we rely on, and ask, what does it truly take to feel safe?
And the sources highlight this core conflict, like you said. It's the tension between what we have and what we're becoming.
Precisely. The moon just illuminates that gap, sometimes starkly.
It makes you see what you're holding on to.
Right, and maybe why. It reveals those common traps, mistaking that comfortable rut for genuine stability.
Or just being too afraid of losing something to make a necessary change.
That's a big one. The fear of loss preventing transformation. It's classic inertia, really.
Inertia, that's a good word for it. So if you're feeling this tension, say, first thing in the morning on the 5th, what's the recommended action?
The advice is pretty clear. Don't necessarily fight it head-on immediately. Instead, look for common ground.
Common ground between?
Between those contrasting desires. The desire to stay safe and the pull towards something new. Find the overlap, the potential compromise.
Okay, compromise. But let's talk about why this particular full moon feels so intense. The sources don't mince words. They call it one of the most shocking and electrically charged lunations of the year.
Yeah, that phrasing definitely jumps out.
It sounds almost like a contradiction, doesn't it? Taurus is Earth, solid, steady, slow. Where does shocking and electric come from?
Well, that's the really unique flavor of this specific lunation. It's not just the Taurus moon in isolation. The source of that chaotic tension, the electricity, is coming from a major opposition happening at the same time.
An opposition.
Yes. You've got aggressive Mars staring right across the sky at rebel Uranus.
Okay, Mars action, conflict, drive. Uranus, sudden change, revolution, the unexpected, opposing each other.
Exactly. And when planets are in opposition, they're essentially facing off. It creates this point of high tension demanding some kind of integration or balance.
But Mars and Uranus don't sound like they do balance very easily.
Not their usual style, no. It's less like a negotiation and more like...
Well, the source uses terms like chaotic tension and unexpected blow-up.
blow-ups.
Think of it maybe like trying to channel lightning. That's Uranus. Through a very solid, potentially rigid earthenware vessel that's Taurus, influenced by Mars's forceful energy.
So it could crack. Or shatter.
It could, or potentially the intense energy could fuse the material into something even stronger, more resilient. But the process is likely to feel volatile, unpredictable.
That makes sense of the shocking and electric description then. That clash between the earthy stability and this sudden volatile current.
Precisely. Earth versus the electrical storm, conceptually. Which explains why the practical advice is so grounded, literally. The sources say, stay grounded, connect with nature, focus on beauty.
Exactly. Anchor yourself. Use the Taurus strength's connection to the physical, the sensory world, to help withstand that Uranian jolt. If you're rooted, the shock is less likely to knock you completely off balance.
Okay, so grounding is key to navigating the initial jolt.
Yes. And the good news, according to the sources, is that this high-voltage feeling might peak early. The daily flow suggests the afternoon could feel different.
How so? What shifts?
Well, the idea is that the morning's intensity might force the issue, bring the hidden tension or the necessary choice out into the open. Once that happens, once the friction point is revealed, then things might settle a bit. The afternoon is suggested as a better time for action.
Ah, so clarity comes after the initial shockwave.
Potentially, yes. Conversations might feel clearer, decisions easier. It's framed as a time to maybe close loops or figure out how to use any new resources or space that might have opened up because of the morning's revelations.
So the shakeup happens. Then you figure out what to do with the pieces.
Sort of. But the key message underlying all this is that while the catalyst might be sudden and shocking, the progress that follows still requires steady effort.
Right, back to that earthy Taurus quality.
Exactly. You might need the lightning strike from Uranus and Mars to break up the old pattern, but you need the steady, grounded Taurus energy to actually build something new and lasting from it. It's not instant gratification, even with the fireworks.
Okay, this abstract energy, this tension between holding on and letting go, the sudden shock, it all comes together really vividly in the story scope for the day, the story of Mira.
Yes, stories are so powerful for grounding these big concepts. Mira's story provides that emotional translation, makes it relatable.
So set the scene for us. Where do we find Mira?
She's standing in her garden. The description is quite evocative. There's lavender, thyme, but also the skeletal remains of summer's roses. So beauty and decay side by side.
Very liminal space.
Very. And she's feeling it, that invisible electricity of the full moon. She's right there in that core tension we've been discussing. The pull between the comfort of what she had and the almost painful necessity of what she felt she needed to become.
And she's physically holding on to symbols of that old life, right?
Yeah.
The sources call them anchors.
Yes, anchors. Not keys, significantly. Anchors hold you down.
What were they specifically?
The story lists 3 things she drops into a stone bowl of water for a release. First, a folded letter from an ex-partner.
Okay, emotional attachment, past relationship security.
Exactly. Second, a tarnished silver coin from an old bookstore she used to manage.
Past career identity, financial security tied to the past.
Precisely. The tarnish is key there, too. And third, a simple copper ring.
Just a simple ring, representing maybe a past commitment, a way of being.
Could be a simple physical token of something that maybe once felt solid but now just holds her back. These aren't just random items. They represent concrete forms of that old security she felt she needed, but which were actually preventing movement.
That inertia you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. They're the physical weight of that inertia.
And as she's preparing to let them go, there's this piece of wisdom that comes through. Her father's words.
Yes, a memory surfaces. Her father saying, "Safety isn't what you hold on to, Mira. It's what you build inside yourself when the world shakes."
Wow. That really flips the script on traditional ideas of security, doesn't it? Especially Taurian security.
Completely. It reframes safety as an internal capacity, an inner resilience, not an external collection of things or relationships.
And the release itself,
Yeah.
sources mentioned, it mirrors the astrology.
Oh, absolutely. It's dramatic. As she puts the items in the water, the ink from the letter dissolves, the metals seem to react, and then the external environment mirrors her internal shift.
The storm.
Yes, a soft crack of thunder and then a flash of blue lightning. The story explicitly links this to Mars and Uranus having their cosmic conversation.
So the universe is kind of validating her action.
Or at least reflecting the intensity of it. The narrative notes that change is never gentle, but it was honest. That friction, that intensity was necessary. It wasn't smooth, but it was real.
And then the aftermath. This part really struck me. After the storm, the water in the bowl evaporates.
Yes, and what's left?
Only the silver coin. But it's different. It's gleaming brighter than before.
That's the crucial moment, isn't it? It's the synthesis. The release wasn't just about mere letting go of an attachment. It seems the act of release actually restored the object itself.
How do you mean?
By releasing her emotional weight, her past associations, the tarnish from the coin, its intrinsic value, its own light, could shine through again. It had to be let go of to be truly seen for what it was.
That's profound. So letting go wasn't destruction, it was restoration.
In this case, yes. And what happens for Mira after this release?
She starts drawing. The story says she picks up her sketchbook again. She's building something new.
Exactly. She's freed up. She can now use her resources, both the polished potential represented by the coin and that internal security her father spoke of, to actively create something new, something brave and alive. She's building a foundation that can weather storms, not just a fragile comfort zone.
Which brings us nicely to synthesizing all of this. connecting the astrological mechanics with Mira's very human story.
Right. The big insight drawn from both the technical analysis and the narrative seems crystal clear. True security isn't found in desperately clinging to things. In fact, sometimes security requires the very opposite. It requires that conscious, maybe difficult act of letting go, introducing that friction to overcome the inertia.
Releasing what we've been desperately clutching, as the source puts it.
Yes.
Because sometimes those things we clutch, those perceived safety nets.
They're actually the things holding us back.
Precisely. And Mira's coin shows us that some things have to be released before their true value can even emerge again. They need to be freed from our projections, our old stories. So the central lesson for you, listening, is maybe that true security isn't ultimately about what you manage to keep hold of.
No. It seems it's much more about what you find the courage to let go of.
And this deep dive really clarifies that making progress, gaining ground, often means releasing those things, whether they're emotional habits, material possessions, old identities that feel safe, but are actually blocking your path forward.
You embrace that potentially shocking electric moment of release, that Uranian jolt.
To create the space needed for the steadier Taurian work of building something truly solid and new afterwards. You need both the spark and the substance.
A powerful combination indeed.
So building on all that, if we accept that true security is built internally, like Mira's father said, and that change, while maybe not gentle, is fundamentally honest, then the final thought we want to leave you with is this. What simple copper ring, what tarnished coin from a previous chapter of your life might you still be carrying?
Yeah, what are you holding on to maybe in your mind, your habits, your actual possessions that feels like safety, but might actually be preventing that next vital phase of your growth?
Something to really consider as you navigate this potent energy and start building that new foundation, maybe brick by steady brick.